Hi Karen, hope you're doing well with all this Corona stuff going on. So I figured we'd do some broken halos. So remember, for this song, capo's on the 1st fret, which means you want to be right behind the fret with the capo. That's too far back. You want to be right behind the fret, which is right there. And starts out with that G chord. And this is the other G. There's a million ways to make every chord. So you've got your pinky on the 1st string, 3rd fret, your 3rd finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, right next to it. You've got your 2nd finger up here on the 6th string, 3rd fret. So all 3 of those are on the 3rd fret. And you got your 1st finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. So there's your 1st chord. Seen my share of broken halos. So that's your C chord. It's actually not really a C, but we'll just call it a C for now. And what you're doing is you're just dropping your 2nd finger down to the 5th string and your 1st finger down to the 4th string. So there's your G, there's your C. Almost identical. So you've got the 1st chord G, seen my share of, and your C, broken halos. This is an E minor. Now I use different fingers just because that's how I learned, but all the books will show you that on the E minor, you'll notice on the sheet, I think I wrote down these chords, this fingering here. So you got your 2nd finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. It looks like the 3rd fret. It's really the 2nd because we have the capo here. Your 3rd finger right underneath that on the 4th string, and that is it, those 2 fingers. All the books, all the manuals will say these are the right fingers. I use these fingers. I won't go through all that, but bottom line is you can make pretty much every chord a lot of different ways. There is no one right way, one wrong way. So there's your E minor chord. Now remember, if you put your 1st finger down here on the 3rd string, 1st fret, and you keep these fingers where they were for the E minor, 2nd and 3rd finger. So your 1st finger's on the 3rd string, 1st fret. Your 2nd finger's on the 5th string, 2nd fret. Your 3rd finger is right underneath that on the 4th string, 3rd fret. 3rd string, 1st fret, 3rd fret, tap, 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 lots of numbers. Anyway, that is your E chord. We are not playing an E chord. Take your 1st finger off, that becomes E minor. No pinky at all. That becomes E minor. So what we have here is 1st chord. Remember, we are on the 3rd fret for this chord. 1, 2, 3. This is not the 1st fret anymore. That is the 1st fret. So there's your 1st chord. G. Seen my share of. Drop these 2 fingers down from here to here. From here to here. You have a C chord. Broken halos. Then you have the E minor, which I make with these fingers. I would recommend using the 2nd and 3rd because all the books show that. So you have seen my share of broken halos, folded wings. When you get to the word wings, you're back to your C chord. So that's pretty much it, except for the bridge, which we'll get to in a second. So the whole thing. Seen my share of G, broken halos, C, folded wings, E minor, that used to, back to your C, fly. Seen my share of broken halos, folded wings, they used to fly. They've all gone. Wherever they go, broken halos they used to fly. So let me show you the strumming pattern here. I'll simplify the strumming pattern. I would just do a down up for now, just completely down up the whole thing. So you're doing down up. So I'll show you. So I kind of skipped around and did some other stuff because that's just how I play, but you can do just a down up, which is down, up, down, up, down, up. So let me slow that down. Seen my share of broken halos, folded wings that used to fly. They've all gone, wherever they go, broken halos that used to fly. And that is the entire song except for the bridge, which we'll get to later. So I would just do a straight down up, doesn't have to be that tempo, pick whatever tempo you want, you can make it super slow if you want. Now I'll get real close so you can see. Seen my share of broken halos, folded wings they used to fly. They've all gone, wherever they go, broken halos they used to fly. Then you put one more. That's pretty much it for that part. Now let me show you, that's 99% of the song right there. Let me show you the bridge. The bridge is just your part B of the song. And this is the B minor chord. It's currently now C minor because we have capo, but same shape. So first finger on the second fret all the way across. You're really only pressing down the 6th string and the 5th string and the 1st string. Why? Because these fingers get those other strings. Those fingers are pressing down those strings. So you have your pinky on the 3rd string, and we are now on the 4th fret, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So pinky on the 3rd string, 4th fret, 3rd finger right above that on the 4th string, 4th fret. And then we have your 2nd finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and your 1st finger going all the way across. Now keep in mind that these 3 fingers, those are getting the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. Those are pressing the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. So your 1st finger doesn't really have to press those down. Your only concern for this 1st finger is the 6th string, the 5th string, and the 1st string. Why? Because these fingers preclude that 1st finger they're in front of. So there is your chord. This is a B minor chord. Very common. It's in a trillion times a billion times a trillion songs. Very common bar chord. Bar means 1st finger goes all the way across like a bar. So what you're doing on this chord, you're hammering. This is called a hammer. I'm playing this chord first, and this, I'll tell you up front, will not be easy at first. You're going to have to really mash your fingers down. You're just going to have to slam them down and just really squeeze that neck as hard as you possibly can. I've been doing it for 40 years, so I've got the muscles, so it'll take you a week or so to slam it down and get those notes nice and pretty. Now, if you want to take a shortcut and just do that, that's fine too. Technically on the record it goes blottle, 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 which means I'm pressing all these down very hard and then I'm slamming my fingers down. I am not strumming that. that hand is hammering them. So if you want to skip the whole hammer process, that's fine too. You can just go like that. So no hammer. So let me show you the context of that. See my share of broken halos, folded wings they used to. Alright, now here comes the bridge. So I'm just jumping to the bridge there, so you just go. Now, if you want to change, again, if you want to change up and simplify the strum pattern and tweak it later until you get it just like the record, that's fine too. So this is what we have for the bridge, which is the B part of the song. So let me show you that again. This is just the B minor chord. What I'm doing is boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-da, boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum. That's the strum pattern. But if you want to simplify it again, you can just do a straight down, up, down, up. It's not quite like the record, but we can modify that later. So here we go. So I'll slow that down for you. This is the whole bridge part. Those two parts together, the verse and that bridge part, is the entire song. So what you're doing is just two separate parts for the entire song. And that's pretty much it. So let me go back over the first part and then the second part real quick. What you have is seen my share of, and here's the tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now this is a 3/4 time. I won't get to a whole lot of detail on that, but what you're counting is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's not 4/4 where you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're just going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So if I slow that down, this is just the strum pattern. You're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Notice I'm counting only on the downstroke. 1, 2, 3. The 1 is the down beat, and the up strum, which I'm not counting, is the up beat. So you have down, up, boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. All right, so that should get you going on that song. And then we also did the more review, which is no capo on this one. Just a regular old E chord. Now, again, I use these 3 fingers, the 4-3-2 or 2-3-4 fingers. All the books will say 1, 2, 3. There's a million ways to make every chord. There's no one proper, you know, this is the only way to make a chord. Pretty much every single chord on every instrument can be made in multiple ways. And I won't explain why I do it this way. It's just a shortcut I learned many years ago. So all the books that you pull, you'll pull up this chord. It's going to say 1, 2, 3. I use the 2, 3, 4. So don't let that trip you up. So here's the first chord. You're playing an E chord. Oh, I forgot the first part. So what you're doing at the very beginning. Let's see. What you're doing at the beginning, the very beginning of the song, the very first string, smallest string, and you're playing a downstroke on all of these. So that's open, no fingers, 2nd fret, 1st finger, and then 4th fret, 3rd finger. All right. Now you're going to go back down. So that's called a walk up and a walk down. Walk up, walk down. All downstrokes, which means like this. So I'm doing all downstrokes. Now we do a B7. Pinky on the 1st string, 2nd fret. And you're playing the 3rd finger right next to that 2nd string, 3rd fret. So these two are together. And then you're putting your 1st finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret, and your 2nd finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. So this is what you have. Sorry, I keep getting people texting me. So this is what you have. You have pinky, 3rd, right? Pinky, 3rd. Then you have 1st, and you have 2nd. Sorry. Pinky, 3rd, first finger, 2nd finger. Pinky's on the 1st string, 3rd fret. The 3rd finger's on the 3rd string, 3rd fret. And then you're going to have your 1st finger on the 4th string, 1st fret. 2nd finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. Of course, you can pull this up in the chord chart I gave you. So that is a B7 chord. It's hard to see where my fingers are. Pinky on the 1st string, 3rd fret. 3rd finger on the 3rd string, 3rd fret. 2nd finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Those are all on the same fret, or 2nd fret, sorry. And then your 1st finger is on the 4th string, 1st fret. So from the top, we have the 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes. That part right there is 2nd finger, 4th, 3rd finger, 2nd string, 4th fret. 1st string, 0 fingers. 1st string, 2nd fret, 1st finger. Back to 1st string, 0. Back to 2nd string, 4th fret, 3rd finger. Back to 1st string, 0. Downstrokes. So the whole thing from the top. That's your E chord. All right, so that should get you going on those. I don't want to give you too much, but I think that'll work. So I'll play just a little bit of the beginning of this song. All right. Again. watch this hand. All downstrokes. B7. All downstrokes again. E chord. The strum pattern on this song, let's see. 3/4 time. So you're counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to practice strumming some of the chords that you know, just to random patterns, not in any song or anything, but you can do like a C chord, D chord, G chord, and just whenever you pick up the guitar and practice, I would recommend starting out with some basic practicing of the strumming. This will also help your calluses, holding down the strings for your chords. So take, say, a C chord, doesn't matter, just whatever chord you want. Just say a C chord, right? So you know the C chord. So you could do this chord and just do it down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Make sure you get all the notes in. Make sure you don't touch the other strings. So this is the 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. Make sure you don't touch the other strings. Otherwise, for instance, if I touch the 1st string with my 1st finger, then I'm going to kill that 1st string. I'm going to mute it out. All right? So you don't want that muted out. So make sure when you play these chords, everything sounds good. So the first thing you want to do when you play these chords is put your fingers in the right spot and don't start strumming immediately. Play each note separately so you make sure all the notes ring out and your fingers aren't touching the other strings. So I'm going to intentionally not press or touch, I'm going to intentionally touch other strings and not press down all the way. So right now the 1st finger is touching the 1st string. I don't want it to touch the 1st string. I only want it to touch the string that it's on. So your 3rd finger is only touching the 5th string, your 2nd finger is only touching the 4th string. No fingers on the 3rd string at all for this chord. And your 1st finger is only touching the 2nd string. It is not touching the 1st string or the other string beside it, which is the 3rd string. So don't touch the adjacent strings. Only touch the strings that they are on. And hang on that chord for a while. Press it down hard. You got to get calluses. Press it down hard for a minute or two. I mean, just don't even take your hand off. Just keep on pressing down. You got to get those calluses. It'll take a little while. So just do it down, up, down, up. Kind of boring. Do 15, 20, 30 seconds just on the same chord. Make sure all the notes sound good. You don't want to touch, again, here's an example. I'll be touching the 1st string. Hey, that sounds fine. That sounds good. Nothing wrong with that. Actually, my 1st finger is barely touching that 1st string. You can't really see it, but if I rolled my finger over, I'm muting out that 1st string, so you don't want to touch the adjacent strings. And from time to time, you're going to catch yourself touching the adjacent strings. Just keep on going. Every time you pick up the guitar, play all the chords you know and strum them. There's a C chord, D chord. I think we've done a D, G chord. You can also do this G chord. E chord, B7. So just take all the chords that you know and practice them for maybe 30 seconds. Just hang on that chord, say a G chord. And this is going to hurt your fingers, but that's good because you're going to get calluses. You have to go through the pain to get those calluses. So every single time you sit down, to play the guitar, just hang on that chord. Go to say a C, whatever chord, I don't care what chord, just pick a chord. C, D, G, A minor. So whatever chords I've written down, I don't have the sheets in front of me because you have them, but whatever chords I've written down, Practice all those chords every time you sit down and play the guitar, and just strum down, up, down, up, down, up. I don't care what tempo, just down, up, real simple. Down, up, down, up, down, up. If your fingers slip, you'll hear your strings kind of get muted, and you know, you'll hear the notes kind of mess up. Just put your fingers back where they're supposed to be and start over again. Just do your down, up, down, up. That's the first exercise you should do when you sit down and practice the guitar. So I think that's plenty to keep you occupied. Remember that you want to play every day. I would say at least 15 minutes, preferably 30 minutes every day. If you can do 3 10-minute practices, your fingers are going to hurt. If you can do 3 10-minute practices every day, that keeps the pain to a minimum, and that will still help with your calluses. And I would highly, highly, highly recommend playing at least 3 10 minutes every single day, 7 days a week, 30 days a month. The more you press down those strings, the better your calluses are going to be. The better your calluses, the better your chords are going to sound, because you're going to have tough fingers, which improves your tone, and it helps you press down hard and you won't feel it. Like I can press down real hard and I don't even feel it. There's no pain. I've got pretty good calluses, but it does take some time to get those calluses. So I hope that's not going too fast. I hope that's not too much information for you. As long as you're picking up the guitar and playing every day, that's what we want. Give me a holler if you need to.